Hey, this is Artie Astor with B Sharp and C doing I don't know, 4 o'clock in the morning episode because I can't sleep and I had a lot of stuff on my mind. And does that ever happen to you? You wake up at like 3 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning, and all this stuff is on your mind. And then no matter how hard you try to fall back to sleep, you can't. And for me, but the heart starts racing and I start thinking of all these things and I get anxious. What if I do this? Did I pay that bill? Did I do this? Anyways, I decided to do something that I love, which is listen to music. And I need to do an episode about this song here. It's called Bended Knee. It's by the Heavy Horses, a man named Justin Mahoney. I believe he is out of, the last time I checked, he's out of New Brunswick, Canada. Some great folk music comes out of there, but this is almost like Southern Gothic, dark country type of folk. And you'll know what I'm talking about in a second when you hear it. It's flippin' fantastic. Now, about 5 years ago, I believe, it's 2025 now. So yeah, 25 years ago was pretty much thick in the middle of COVID, and I had been listening to the Heavy Horses anyways because of the Heavy Horses' first album that had come out. And there were a ton of songs on there that I just love. It's one of those albums that I can put the album on and just listen from beginning to end. Um, this man has gone to great lengths to just focus on storytelling and songwriting and some excellent control of his voice. It's like a tenor, low tenor kind of it seems super perfect control over his voice. And the style of songwriting is a style of songwriting that was it, it's what songwriting is. And I hate in 2025 you listen to a song and you don't know who wrote it. You don't know who wrote it. And yes, that includes all of your favorite pop stars. You really don't know the level that they have written. So Sabrina Carpenter, um, Taylor Swift. There are people who think that Taylor Swift writes every note and every lyric to every song, that she takes absolutely no suggestions from everyone, that she controls everything. Um, I can tell you right now that is extremely unlikely. There's no one today who is fully in control of everything they do. Not if they're as big as the biggest pop stars out there. You are part of a well-oiled machine. That is how it works. But now you have someone like this, the Heavy Horses, and it's the raw aspect of the songwriting that the music world is missing in 2025. To be able to listen to a song and identify with the storytelling, identify with the vocal melody that's being sung, identify with the chord changes, and say, that is from this person. That in 2025 is hard to come by, but that is what you get with Justin Mahoney. I'm going to put this song on now. It's called Bended Knee by his project, The Heavy Horses.
I heard the cavalry ride that day. My parents hid me, and there I'd stay. Then those troops came one by one, men with honor, men with virtue, men with none. When they held her, I heard him cry. And when they butchered him, I watched her die. I shed no tears, but vowed that day men would crumble, men would suffer, men would pay. Before the war came, I was afraid. Then a darkness consumed me. The face of war is all I see, and I find no hope on bended knee. I kept my word.
All right, I'm going to stop it for a second. I believe I allowed a lot of it to play, which was kind of my point. Um, yeah, the song is 3 minutes and 33 seconds long. I allowed 2 minutes to go into it, so you have verses and a chorus and you have that beautiful solo there. Um, why do I find this song to stand above the rest of the music that is coming out today? Well, because it's a song written as a song. It's a song that comes from a person. Imagine looking at a Picasso or a beautiful Van Gogh, but then finding out that it actually wasn't Van Gogh. Van Gogh walked into a to an art studio with an idea, and 15 artists were there, and they all kind of got together and said, "Okay, let's work on this painting." And then they put it together, but there's no real name, there's no real identity to who painted this portion of the painting here or who did that over here. Imagine that. I'm not saying that music writing cannot be collaborative. I'm not. I'm saying that we as a society want to connect emotionally with other people. If, whether we're watching a movie, you know, I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say, wow, Tom Cruise is a genius for coming up with this line or for saying this. Or in Mission Impossible, he said this line right here. That's all right. Well, guess what? It was probably written by somebody else. Tom Cruise very likely did not come up with that line. Eh, Believe it or not, actors actually like good writing. They like good dialogue. You know, watch the movie U-571. It's chock full of dialogue, right? But we as a society, we want to identify, to connect ourselves to something, which is why we watch a Sabrina Carpenter music video and we connect everything that's happening in that music video to Sabrina Carpenter as though she were the mastermind behind everything. Well, guess what? She was probably 5% of the creative juices that created the song and music video, right? But she performs it really well. She does a great job in the music video and she does a great job singing the song, but she's not the creator. But we attribute her to the creation, or we attribute the creation or the creativity to her. We say, look at that, she's great. Well, okay, not really, but that's because we want to identify with something. We want to connect, right? We can connect here and know that we're connecting to a person who's writing a song. Listen again. Simple, simple, simple. It's in the key of A minor.
I heard the cavalry ride that day. My parents hid me, and there I'd stay. Then those troops came on by one. Men with honor, men with virtue, men with none.
It's just A minor to F major to A minor, and then A minor to G major to A minor, and then A minor to F major to A minor, And then G major, F major, A minor, right? The song, for the most part, there's a little bit of a variation of the chord changes during the chorus, but that is what you have. But listen to everything that's going on underneath those chord changes. Listen, pedal steel in the left ear, finger picking right here on the guitar.
I heard the cavalry ride that day. My parents hid me, and there I'd stay.
Not a lot going on instrumentally.
Then those troops came one by one.
Something here now in the right ear.
Men with virtue, men with none.
Okay, one set of verses is over. Now listen, ready?
When they held her, I heard him cry.
You hear that weird organ all of a sudden kind of creep in. Listen for the organ.
And when they butchered him, I watched her die. I shed no tears, but vowed that day men would crumble, men would suffer, men would pay.
Now we go to the chorus.
Before war came, I was free. Then a
Instrumentation picks up a little bit. There's a little bit of a variation in the chord changes. So I believe it goes to F major, then G, and then A. So it's or A minor. So it's the same chords that are pretty much in the verses are just rearranged for the chorus. Real common way to start a chorus because you want the song to somewhat be familiar and the song has a nice even flow to it, but the instrumentation picks up, but not a lot. And it's something I love about dark country, something I love about the Southern Gothic, this type of music here. Um, there's always some kind of weird alternative or weird creative alternative to their percussion. Sometimes it's a chain, sometimes it's something crackling, sometimes it's a shovel hitting the dirt. I am not kidding. But that's what you have here. There's not much going on with percussion, but every now and then you hear a little something. Very, very indicative of dark country.
darkness consumed me.
You hear that?
The face of war is all I see.
You hear that?
And I find no hope on bended knee.
You hear that's just a hi-hat being hit in the left ear during this guitar solo, this amazingly haunting and beautiful pedal steel guitar solo.
I kept my word as the years crept by.
You notice the organ sound is different. Now it could be something like this. This is a MIDI controller. You can change the organ sound. I think I have a B3 sound in here somewhere. Let me check if I have, what is this? Jazz organ, right? So you can change the sounds, right? Um, that's more than likely what he's using, unless he has some kind of, there are a lot of artists out there. They're expensive. A Hammond organ or a B3 with a Leslie speaker, you can get them used, but I mean, you're looking at the very minimum $5,000. I mean, at the minimum, $5,000. And they're big and bulky, but there are people who lug those things around from show to show, you know. But at any rate, the organ sound has changed. Listen to it.
I slaughtered all to watch them die. I'd make them doubt all they believed.
Second half of the song, you hear violin. You didn't hear it at all in the first half of the song.
They beg their Lord as I did my will. Their wives would scream at their children still. I heard their stories one by one. Men have prayers, men have regrets, I have none. Before the war came, I was free. Now a dark.
Now you have a little bit of a back and forth kind of with the violin and the pedal steel guitar, and they're both very fluid instruments. So to have them kind of flow in and out of each other is a beautiful, uh, production move. It's a really great move.
Darkness consumes me. I'm the last face men will see, and they waste their breath on bended knee.
Just so fantastic on so many levels. I wish that music was all like that. I wish that I turned on the radio and I was like, wow, I like this. But and I like that artist, and this is what I get. I remember listening to Neil Young decades ago, and even now, and other artists. I mean, just name an artist. The Eagles. Although, don't get me wrong, but they had a lot of talented people. So sometimes more than one hand got involved in the songwriting, but that's okay. Kind of like the Beatles, you do get a little bit of a back and forth of ideas between a couple of people. The same thing with Pink Floyd. You get a song that was started by Roger Waters and then fleshed out by the rest of the band. And we've come to understand that that's the process for that band. What you get with the Heavy Horses is great songwriting. Great songwriting. You know it's coming from the Heavy Horses, and you can kind of almost envision how the song was put together. More than likely, he wrote that song strumming on the guitar or finger picking on the guitar. The song was all written, and then in the studio, the decisions were made. Let's make the instrumentation gradually increase as the song goes on, but not be too busy by song's end. Let's add this here. Let's do this. Let's put the pedal steel to the left ear, and we'll put some, other guitar sounds to the right ear. We'll come in with an organ right here, but we won't come in with the organ on the first set of the verses, only on the second set of the verses. And then after the guitar solo, let's change the organ sound. Actually, it sounded like they had two organs, the first organ and then more of a B3 sound added on top of that. And then a violin came in, and that was the decision was made. That is enough added instrumentation. That is what you get when you listen to the Heavy Horses. You actually see how the art is formed. You can envision how the art is formed, and you can identify with a songwriter. Now, I'm not saying that a musician who takes a song that is written and makes it his own is doing anything wrong. I'm not saying that when a song is released and it was already it's already been touched by 10 or 12 different songwriters, I'm not saying that that song is bad. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is we have essentially lost the ability in 2025 to turn on the radio, listen to a song, and be like, oh, wow, Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey, when they wrote this song, they really nailed it with that chorus. So they really did a good job with that bridge. We have lost the ability in 2025 to turn on a song and immediately identify with the artist. Now, don't get me wrong, because Madonna, I mean, my goodness, Paula Abdul, I'm sure a lot of big stars of the past, Michael Jackson. It is something that has always been going on. It's just that now it is so prevalent. We just listen to a song and think, I like that artist. And that artist might never have written one of their own songs from beginning to end, but yet we attribute all the songwriting to that artist. And I miss the days when you can relate to a person. I don't know. Maybe I am just preaching too much. Maybe I'm making a big deal out of nothing. I don't know. But I've read a lot of comments in a lot of the videos I make, and a lot of people tend to agree. That doesn't mean this other music is bad. I'm a fan of some of today's pop where I know that that artist didn't write that song, but I still appreciate the song. It still sounds good, right? I mean, heck, I'll eat a Big Mac. I like the Big Mac, right? But to me, it's a quick solution to something, but it still tastes good. I mean, I do like the taste of a Big Mac, but I know that it's not the best thing for me to consume, and I know there's no real substance to it. And I think that we get that with a lot of pop music today. The heavy horses, in my opinion, bring substance. I don't know. That's just what I have to say about this song and about all of Justin Mahoney's songs. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. This is Artie Astor from B Sharp and C saying until next time, keep it groovy.